Vernon Reid of Living Color's been making some noise on social media. There's some underappreciated artists out there, specifically guitar players, Willie. And Vernon Reid, it was kind of upset that some of these guitar players did not have over 10,000 followers on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it now. And two of those guitar players, I think our audience knows very well, Robert Cray and Robin Trower.
Yes.
And so within days, Vernon Reid put out a huge campaign on X, and they surpassed 10,000 followers. And a lot of other artists joined the campaign. They were retweeting, promoting these artists. What did you think seeing this, Willie?
The first thing I thought of was like, hey, good for him. Because when we're talking about Vernon Reid, he speaks from experience. You can go talk to a lot of music aficionados who will say Vernon Reid. I remember growing up in the late 80s, early 90s when Living Color had its heyday. And what are you doing? I'm listening to Living Color. And people would say, you mean the TV show, the comedy hour? Dude, no one had any idea. So one, he speaks from experience. Two, he is one of the most interesting tweeters going. He's not just a guy who tweets frequently. Everything he says has merit and it's thoughtful. So if you want an education, you can start with his account. But Pete, the bigger question is this a turning point? Because, like you said, guitarists, musicians, they are underexposed. And so many of these guys, these men and women are so involved in their work that they're not going to go out on social media. We harp on this, that it is the wave of the future. Vernon Reid has pretty much rallied the forces. Pete, does it have staying power? And also then the second question is this the way to go about getting bigger exposure?
It certainly helps, Willie. I mean, when you have someone like Vernon Reid able to use kind of his stature to help lift these other artists, it's really great. You know, there's a lot more that goes into getting heard than just being a great musician. Yep. You know, if you don't have the marketing behind you, people aren't going to hear you. They're not going to know about you. And you look at Robert Cray, Robin Trower, those are two legends of guitar and blues rock. But a lot of the younger generation, you know, if you go ask people under the age of 40, probably, most of them aren't going to know who they are. And so really getting this music out to those people, but not only that, just guitar players in general. I mean, there's so many people out there who know who Robert Cray and Robin Trower are. They've been doing this for a long time, but maybe they just never thought about checking them out on social media, or they never landed there, you know? So helping to get some of these artists connected with their own fans, you know, and the fact that Vernon Reid's doing that, I think that's great. And seeing more and more of this, I mean, I love it, Willie.
Pete, I love it too. But I want to ask you a personal question, and I'll lead in by being honest with this about myself. You and I talk about this, and like I found out about this from you, Pete. So you have no problem telling me. I have a bunch of friends. I have a ton of different friends who are friends for different reasons, friends who are music friends. Because I'm not as much engaged in social media as some other people are, there's a part of me that I'm a bit of a hypocrite. I love the idea that Robert Cray is doing this. Will I sign up for these other people's accounts? Of course I will, because I want to see what they're doing. But Pete, I believe the real growth comes with someone like myself expanding the branches of the tree into my friend group that maybe isn't necessarily involved in this type of deeper music. But Pete, I don't do it. So I guess I'm a hypocrite here. And for everyone who's watching this, I'm being honest. Pete, I'm going to ask you, do you reach these, or I guess push these things out so other people can reach onto this wellspring of knowledge that Vernon Reid has and Robert Cray has? Because if you don't, Pete, if we just keep passing this back and forth to each other, does it really help?
Well, I mean, look what we're doing right now, Willie. I think we're putting forth the effort right now, and we're trying to expose people. But again, sometimes we can get caught in this little tiny circle and this niche. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And there's a huge world out there of people who love this music, but they don't know where to find it. And that's the biggest problem. And so, to your point, Willie, it does take all of us really to spread the word and tell
Yes.
our friends and get more people to hear about it. Because, if we're just talking to each other, our general audience who listens to this show, we're kind of preaching to the choir here, right?
Yes.
But you got to get out of the bubble and you got to get more people involved. So I totally see what you're saying, Willie.
So I guess I'd finish with this. We're a couple weeks out, but with the holidays approaching, this holiday season, instead of spreading Twitter accounts full of vile and vitriol, maybe you go ahead and show someone what Robert Cray has been up to. Or maybe you go ahead and let someone get a look at Robin Trower or any of the numerous people that Vernon Reid is putting on. So I guess to all you out there, what do you guys think about, I guess, sort of social media activists like Vernon Reid? Let us know what you think down in the comments, and do yourself a favor. Pick up a good Twitter account once in a while. Vernon Reid's got one of the best. Pete and I will attest to it. But until next time, let us know.